Welcome, everyone, to The Beat. I am Ari Melber. Tonight, we're going to get into this newly revealing testimony from a Trump DOJ veteran pressured to try to overturn the election, many calling this the attempted coup. Neil Kochel, Melissa Murray here shortly on that. And it's a big, important story we're staying on because it matters. So I want you to know that's coming up. But we begin with the top story here of COVID surging across the United States, and especially in places where failed Republican policies are measurably making things worse. So I want to begin, as we try to around here, with the facts and the humanity of a story that sometimes can just get lost in the numbers. Well, there are members of a Florida church, 6 of them, who died of COVID over the past week and a half. None of them were vaccinated. 4 were described as healthy people in their 30s. Let's listen to their pastor.
It's definitely taken a toll on us. Some of them have been extremely close to us, and to watch some of these people in the prime of their life, one mother who just was recently married, just celebrated their 1-year wedding anniversary with a young daughter, and to now see her gone when you really just know that it was avoidable.
This is the real part of the story. These are real people, and the people who knew them, as we've seen in some of the stories we've done for you, are sometimes their family members speaking out. Here we have a pastor speaking out. The reality of it is about human lives, not any so-called politics. And there's a growing backlash to people who are playing politics, and it's largely Republican governors and others who have stuck by policies that are proven to fail and that are literally costing lives. The U.S. now averaging more than 100,000 new COVID infections a day. We're at February levels from back before the vaccine was available to everyone and everywhere. 72% of the United States now in counties with high transmission rates. And the Delta variant is seemingly everywhere. Republican leaders are now under fire, often by their own constituents, including some independents and Republicans, for banning safety precautions that work, indeed that work in other places, because they're the places that try them. Florida breaking its own record for new infections and hospitalizations. MAGA Governor Ron DeSantis facing setbacks in the courts. A federal judge blocking his attempt to say there could be no vaccine passports whatsoever, while parents are suing DeSantis over banning mask mandates at schools. Texas Governor Abbott, meanwhile, is still blocking mask mandates at the local level, even as they are facing very clear warnings of dire risks and shortages of ICU beds. All of this is the reality of a resurgent COVID. It's not going away by itself. We can all see that. And the science shows that higher vaccination rates are the only major way out of this. But many Republicans have boxed themselves in, apparently assuming that America was going to move on, that 2021, especially as we go into the fall, would somehow just put some of this behind them. It's very hard to move on, though, when this many people are in the ICU or dying, or also the people facing the economic costs of more COVID-driven problems at work and the markets. A world where we could be going deep into 2022 with none of this really fully changing. Now, that's not something most people want to own in politics. And so some of the talking points are just getting downright stale. Take a Republican congressman claiming that any public health answer about vaccines would be somehow taking sides.
Your message to the public, what do you tell anybody out there who is currently not vaccinated?
Well, I don't have a message. I think the message on the internet, you can find all sorts of people saying different things.
Are you vaccinated, Congressman?
I don't like to get into taking sides on it, okay? So that's...
No, he doesn't have a message. And you can find people on the internet saying different things, just like you can find people writing different things in bathroom stalls. Let's be clear, because this is part of the job that we do around here. With no disrespect or ill will to the congressman, what he said, those words, what you just saw, what he's saying to his own constituents, that was dumb, and it was misleading. The science and the facts show that vaccines protect you from dying or severe illnesses that are largely caused by COVID. Just like seatbelts protect you from many of the harms of car accidents. The government's first obligation, I mean literally first above all else, is to protect the people. So officials who take an oath have an actual obligation here. I'm sorry, but they do have to do more than say you can find anything on the internet. Come on. Now, it's still a free society. So as you've heard me say, whether some people like it or not, people will literally still decide for themselves whether to get vaccinated. We're not here telling you exactly what to do, but we are here telling you the facts about the choices you make. That's kind of the whole job here. And so people can decide to get vaccinated or not. They can decide to wear a seatbelt or not. We can note it is true people have choices in a free society. But that doesn't mean we should all pretend that there is some side to be taken here. The government is on the side of protecting the lives of the people it serves. Vaccines work. Seatbelts work. And please, as we start a new week, let me just say it like this. Can we try not to make this any harder than it already is? And with that, we turn to our experts. I'm joined by Dr. Kavita Patel, a former Obama White House health policy advisor, now with Brookings, and Michael Steele, former RNC chair and the lieutenant governor of Maryland. Good to see you both. Your thoughts there, Michael, about us trying to not make it any harder than it has to be, and a member of Congress saying you can find things on the internet.
Well, we are in a space where we are making it harder on ourselves. At least some in our communities are doing that. Because of their abject lack of concern for their family members, their neighbors. They listen to members like that congressman. And while you have to be respectful, I don't. That was not just idiotic, it was dangerous. Because you have a position of leadership. You are an elected member representing at least 720,000 citizens. So, yeah, you have a position. And when you are asked if you've been vaccinated, your answer is either yes or no. And when you are asked, where can someone who's trying to figure out what they should do, what their concerns are, how to address those concerns, your response is, go to my website from my congressional office, and I have that information there. Or go to the CDC, or go to the local boards of health. You have an appropriate answer you can give. So when your answer is, oh, I don't want to take sides, and I just don't want to get involved, then you don't need the job. But unfortunately, you're representing a community of people who will likely reelect you next year. Now, they need to ask themselves, do you want to be alive to do that? Because his answer will get you killed. And that's what we're seeing now. The governor of Florida just needs to stand down because he is not leading his state. He's killing people in his state. And the fact that parents, school boards, administrators, and other officials are now stepping up and saying the scientists, the doctors, like this good doctor on with us tonight, have been telling us for over a year what to do. Listen to them, not for your own sake, but for the sake of your kids and your grandkids. That's who you should listen to, not DeSantis, not this congressman or anyone else who's selling you a bill of goods that will lead ultimately to your bad health and possible death.